Ho ho ho! Happy XMas, agents! Santa here, welcoming you to this week's Ingress Insights podcast, hosted by Pokémon Trainer J. Ingress Insights is a podcast about the Niantic game Ingress. Listen each week for the latest news, updates, and rumors. Share comments on your podcast feed or on our socials in the show notes, and check the merch store out too. I've got you all on my nice list, so no Dark XM for you this year. I hear one agent has fit rep rewards on their Christmas list. I'll see what I can do. Ho ho ho! On with the show.
Hello agents, this is Pokémon Trainer J of Christmas Pass. The episode you're about to hear I recorded previously, so there'll be no news featured in it. It'll just be about a certain topic, whether Ingress related or not, just as part of the specials released over the festive period in 2024. Hope you enjoy and listen.
Additional intel available.
Hello agents. This time around I want to talk about all the Niantic games I play that are not Ingress. So I'm not going to have any Ingress related stuff in this episode. I'm going to start off first of all with Peridot.
Hey, this is Asim, Global Product Marketing Lead for Peridot, and you're listening to a special episode of Ingress Insights.
It made sense for me to bring back Asim's intro for that part. So Peridot, if you haven't played it, is Niantic's AR pet raising game, where you go around and raise a pet that's called a dot, it's a Peridot, and you level it up by feeding it, make it do tricks, raise it as a little virtual pet, all in AR. AR is on all the time in this game. I do have an episode where I've spoken with Asim about Peridot, and there's a bit more detail in there. For my own gameplay in Peridot, at the minute I'm level 34, and my main aim in it is try and get lots of the chaos traits and name them after Ingress things. So there's already a chaos trait named Enlighten, Resistance, Machina, Ingress Insights, Link Possible, things like that. In the game you go through and get different generations of dots, so I'm now on my 22nd generation of dots. I know some people are on like hundreds and hundreds. I don't think I'd get that far. One of the interesting things you do is fight against blighted dots. So these are basically enemy dots that appear on the map. And the way that you defeat them is by drawing circles around them, which is reminiscent of Pokemon Ranger and games like that to me. Once you've captured them, you can then breed your dot with them to get the certain traits that they have, because there'll only be rarer ones that you want to get. One thing I do enjoy in Peridot is that during Pride Month you get a lot of free Pride dots that are appropriately coloured for the season. So if you're not spending at all, then you can get the free dots on there, which is nice to have a blend of dots to choose from. At the minute, the current maximum level in Peridot is level 70, and I'm saying I'm level 34, so I've got a little way to go. But it is nice to get nests and other updates from leveling up. Previously, when the game first launched, the nests were basically sold for £5 and you couldn't progress in the gameplay loop without spending that money. So that has now changed if that did put you off before. I think that's about it on Peridot, so I'm going to move into Pokemon Go as the next one on my list. I do try as much as possible not to mention Pokemon Go, as it's an Ingress podcast, but for these episodes, because they're a bit of an experiment and see if people like them, then it makes sense to talk about my progress in that game. Pokemon Go, if you don't know, is wandering around capturing Pokemon as you walk around on the Niantic map, spinning Pokestops, doing gym battles, and various other things that I won't get into. For my progress on it, at the moment I'm level 45, the maximum level is 50 at present. I was stuck at level 44 for ages with certain tasks that took me a while to do. I don't like the battling in it, and they had to do a certain amount of battles, I think, and a certain amount of Team Rockets, which are the evil things in the game. I do have a decent amount of XP, so I think I'm at 10 million, I need 15 million to level up. I've already done the tasks that are associated with this level, so like Ingress, where you need the badges, Pokemon Go past level 40 you need to do certain tasks as well as have the XP to level up. I did take a brief glance at my Pokédex before I record this in Pokemon Go. I'm on 860 Pokemon caught and 870 seen, so I've seen a few things in gyms and such that I can't catch like Bouffalont and Klefki that I missed when I went to Brighton. I totally forgot about playing Pokemon that time. For those who do play Pokemon, I'll just mention this. I'm not going to get into it for those that don't, but I'm still on 0 Shundo since starting the game on day 1, if that means anything to anyone listening. I think that's all I really want to say about Pokemon Go, so I'm going to move on now to Pikmin Bloom as well. Pikmin Bloom is a bit more of a casual game compared to this, so there's no like competitiveness battling against each other. It's just a nice easy walking tool, so you can walk around, plant flowers and get those to bloom, get the nectar from them to feed your Pikmin and walk around, hatch more Pikmin. They do tempt FOMO in their game by having limited time costumes like pumpkins for Halloween, playing cards, things like that the Pikmin come with, and obviously having a collection so you can see which ones you don't yet have. For my level in Pikmin Bloom, I'm currently level 80. Level 100 is the maximum at the moment. I don't know if you get anything for hitting level 100. I'm on about 9 million steps since getting Pikmin. I need to plant another 74,000 flowers to level up. You don't gain anything major from leveling up. There's no like boost or anything like that, or getting a rarer Pikmin. It's just a slog in levels. You don't necessarily get rewards even past a certain level. One thing I do enjoy in Pikmin is there's weekly challenges you can do with your friends. So you do a collaborative effort to walk a certain amount of steps, plant a certain amount of flowers, and you can also do party walks. I've mentioned Brian Rose's party walks. These are all collaborative and not competitive, although I do like when I've come out on top and walked the most steps. I never end up being the one that's done the most flowers in my group, but I do pretty well on the steps because I'm walking around for Ingress and other things too. Then I think finally I'll get into the latest Niantic game, which is Monster Hunter Now. Before I do get into Monster Hunter Now, I'll just mention one of my fellow Wayfarer ambassadors, Saramanda, does a Monster Hunter Now podcast. It's called MHN Cast, a Monster Hunter Now podcast, which you can find on various podcast services. So if you're interested in the game, I'd advise you listen to that. Then for my progress in Monster Hunter, I'm currently Hunter rank 117. Again, don't get any rewards or anything like that now. I think 300 is the maximum, so I'm way off that. For the gameplay, it's slaying monsters, as it tends to say. It's very similar in style to The Witcher Monster Slayer, but you do it from a third party perspective in the fight. And you can switch your weapons to like sword and shield, bowgun, heavy bow, switch axe, things like that. They all have different skills and abilities, different elements. And when you're battling away at monsters, they'll have different elemental weaknesses, or you can opt for having a weapon that has no element to it. So it's all about being strategic, attacking at the right time, dodging at the right time, blocking at the right time, using potions, using meat that you can cook. It's a nice little fun game. I don't think I'm super involved in it. I always forget to open it when I'm going out in comparison to the other apps. As you increase in rank in Monster Hunter Now, you'll battle harder monsters. So at the moment I'm battling like 7 and 8 star monsters, which is nowhere near the highest you can battle, but it's the highest I can do at the moment with my equipment. And as mentioned, there's a range of weapons like axes, charge blades, things like that you'd expect from the Monster Hunter series if you know it. However, I've just stuck to generally using sword and shield mainly because I find them useful. I do try and experiment with other weapons now and then when they're required by tasks, but generally stick with sword and shield. That's it for the other Niantic games that I play. I think it's all of the Niantic games as well. So obviously we've had ones like Harry Potter Wizards Unite, Tarn World Explorers, Marvel's game that I now can't remember the name off the top of my head, and Transformers Heavy Metal. They've all since closed or stopped before they even got released. There is the episode with HP Woo Lola where we talk about memories of Harry Potter Wizards Unite. Who knows, there may be Tarn, Marvel or Transformers episodes in future. There are the other apps that aren't games in the Niantic space, so there's the Wayfarer app, which has been demised on Android and shortly be demised on iOS, I imagine, when that runs out in a few days. There's Scaniverse for doing scans of Wayspots and other things where they give away money for getting certain scans in. They want to map the real world. Then finally we have the definitely underused for Ingress of Campfire, where you can access official groups and place groups on the map and see events, things like that are happening. It was especially handy for things like Pokemon Go to see the gyms, the raids, the Pokemon playgrounds, things like that. I just wish the Ingress map actually did anything. It'd be nice to know where all the overclock portals are at a quick glance on that map. But for now, it doesn't really do a lot, and there's a lot of spam in the Ingress group that nobody seems to care about, unfortunately. But that's it from me for this episode. I just wanted to go through briefly the other Niantic games I play and the level that I am in those. If you want to let me know the level you're at in any of the Niantic games, you can leave a comment either on your podcast service or on YouTube. It'd be great to hear and see how you're progressing and what your goals are. As I said, that's it from me, so happy hacking, agents. Thank you, agents, for listening to the latest episode of the Ingress Insights podcast. If you'd like to follow us on social media, you can do that on a few channels. So on Threads under the name ingress.insights, on Instagram under the name ingress.insights as well. Our Twitter/X, which posts episodes of the podcast, is under Ingress Insights, no dot in that one. And you can also watch these episodes on YouTube under Ingress Insights Podcast. You can send us a voice message by visiting the podcaster's Spotify page. And finally, you can buy Ingress Insights merch, such as mugs, pins, t-shirts, by going to freepublic.com/user/ingress-insights. And on there, you'll see all the designs we've got listed at the moment. There are some new ones that will be coming up at some point soon, but you can buy your Ingress Insights mug, hats, t-shirts, tote bags, anything like that you want. Thank you again for listening. Hope you tune in next week. If you do like the show, please do rate it on the podcast service you're listening to. I look forward to speaking with you all about Ingress again.
Intel package transferred.